presents a psychic landscape populated by film noir heavies, beautiful babes, compromising situations, and a hint of mystery. Throughout recorded history, the theme of crime and punishment appears in art and literature. Images of hell intrigue us equally as heaven. The dark vision of Gustave, Dore, and Francisco Goya are only two well-known examples among many. Lazlo continues this tradition. Today we see existential man, the haunted self, totally ruined, but still functioning. A mirror to our threadbare, natural world, dying and hanging on with melancholy beauty. Guns, sex, crime and destiny, men who do evil, and the women who love them. Seeking order in chaos, valor in lives that are lived out of step. The evolution of society, equally as in the evolution of biological forms, allows every experiment, every possibility. Dead-end attitudes, failed social experiments, all possess a certain doomed glory. This left-handed endeavor has been studied, both scientifically and sociopolitically. But the field of art has given it rich visualization. Beyond the world of art and art criticism, the work of Lazlo has achieved notoriety among deviant sociologists and cult-like criminal psychologists such as Crackpot.
I am Dr. Robert Prefer, an extensively published crime art therapist, utilizing the art of Lazlo. My patients have been gravely traumatized by crimes both violent and normal, depending on your definition of normal. To illustrate my radical technique, I have someone I will refer to as Patient X. The case history of Patient X is particularly illuminating. Victim X was unable to discuss what happened to him. Repeated exposure to images selected from the archives of Lazlo Crimeland produced noticeable results, reduced anxiety, and increased ability to articulate his emotional state.
Since the beginning of time, there has been a Victim X. In the universe, a dysfunctional universe, nihilism plays a part of survival. Crime, in fact, is not only a necessary evil, but part of the growing pains of civilization. The individual has to develop evasion techniques in malfunctioning contemporary society where every country is a police state, where you have to embark in crime in order to be a good citizen. These are survival strategies, temporary survival strategies that sometimes work and sometimes don't. The odds are against you. You can't be a good guy because the definition have changed. If you try to obey the law, you're just gonna get arrested. When the state is criminal, the criminals are virtuous.
Dr. Carl Jung provided the inspiration for my research and techniques. In the last century, Jung wrote, "Filling the conscious mind with ideal conceptions is a characteristic of Western theosophy, but not the confrontation with the shadow and the world of darkness. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious."
To conquer fear, one must devour it. Happiness is possible only after vanquishing one's enemy. Not the criminals, just the king, who is the leader of our destiny, oneself. The moon in the gutter, a reproduction of heroes without valor whose only meaning hangs on the desperation of the individual. The age of faithless vengeance exists on a perverse plane devoid of control. Art attempts to instill a system of order in the land of the lost. In the art of Lazlo, we find the haunted self as anti-hero. This is the reward we received from our action to survive in a world of pseudo-existentialism, where, in fact, the masters of the world kneel to their repulsive kings, swallowing the future. The once wide-eyed zeal for love and growth has devolved to pseudo-tribal adulation of flickering images as ghosts. Celluloid myth without transcendency. Art that views a place where to live to once a potential requires artillery and an ability to forget hope as the victim.
Unfortunately, patient X, victim X, is not with us today. He had agreed to give a testimonial to the benefits he received from crime art therapy. However, the thought of facing the cameras was too much for him and has sent him into hiding back to his ex-wife. I'm planning an intervention with patient X utilizing further crime art therapy. Looks like I have a lot of work left to do.
There is no greater sorrow than remembering happiness in a time of misery. The art of Lazlo postulates the criminal as rebel survivalist in contemporary society, and crime is without gender. The role of the femme fatale as wife rings true under the calamitous structure of life patterned on the American sitcom. Behind the sitcom facade, she's ragging on him, but she also snowjobs him to make him think she loves him, or she turns on him. The honeymoon is over when the woman becomes complicit in the crimes of her mate. Or, and this is why, crime is valid core psychiatric path to pursue. One chooses a woman as a mate in crime right out of the gate. It might be a smarter strategy, meaning the godmom goes into the relationship knowing who the guy is and knowing that it's a slippery slope. But at least there's adventure and a level of commitment that transcend your normal marriage vow. A lot of people stay married and end up hating each other. You know, your standard issue American marriage. This way, the relationship might be more sturdy because the two go right into it as an act of crime, rather than as a life that might turn criminal.
Welcome back to Lazlo's Crimeland. Here with us today is Patient X.
All right, doctor, I feel a lot better.
Patient X has responded remarkably to Lazlo's crime art therapy. I'm not at liberty to divulge the nature of Patient X's traumatic experiences, but through Lazlo's crime art therapy, he is slowly but surely becoming a productive member of American society. This artwork here is a prime example of Patient X's interior landscape, a view into his psychology, if you will. This is really interesting, this skull inside of a wine decanter.
As a civilization, we must constantly adjust our parameters. Society demands rebels, punishing them, removing them, yet depending upon their activities for our own self-reflection. The work of Lazlo evidences a certain dilemma. Crime art does not embrace evil, but shines a light on it. Evil, thus exposed, loses its power to terrify. If you know someone who's a victim of a crime, be it physical, social, or existential, someone who can benefit from exposure to crime art, contact Lazlo at Dada-loco.com. Dada-loco.com.